Welcome to the Floor Academy podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Hadeen. We are here to talk about the business side of flooring. Hand skills are much needed in this industry. However, that information is prevalent and easy to find. What I realized was not a lot of people were talking the business side of things, from the money to how to scale or how to manage things, and it became clear very quickly that these conversations needed to happen. So I've been having them for over 2.5 years, and a lot of people have been able to move their businesses forward in a positive way. This week I have Kenny Nix of Nix Flooring with me, and I will let him introduce himself.
Hey, Kyle, thank you for having me. I am the owner of Nix Flooring and Design. I am a second generation, just like all of you, an installer. I've been installing for 18 years. I've been in the business for 21 years. And about 5 years ago, I decided to open a retail location. I have since had 2 retail locations from that time. When I got off my hands and knees the first time, it was for a sales position with a person that was selling me flooring for my clients as an installer. As many of you know, you got clients that want to support you guys and us as well, where they come back and refer you and you want to sell them the material and make a little bit of money doing that. So I had a local retailer in the area that helped me with that. He also helped me to get myself off my hands and knees. He used to tell me, work smarter, not harder. At the time, I had 18 guys working for me.
Okay.
And I had a melting point where, he invited me to work for the company that he was working for. Shortly after that, he saw the potential in me and said, hey, let's you and I go open our own store together. We did that for a little bit of time, and we had 2 different business visions, which is going to lead us into this conversation about this podcast, right?
Okay.
I like the high-end clientele. My background is sanding and refinishing for high-end homes and doing, the custom tile work. Mm-hmm. His background was doing the 55 and older neighborhoods like the Sun City and the Margaritavilles. That was that turn and burn production clientele. It worked out for a little while, but after a short time, I knew we had 2 different business models. It was time for me to either buy him out or him buy me out, which is he bought me out, and here we are at Nix Flooring and Design.
Okay.
We're 3 years into it.
And you've got, you had 18 guys before you stopped and went into sales. So now how many guys you got?
I have 6 employees within the business that is between a warehouse guy, a project manager, office manager, and 3 salespeople. And then I have anywhere from 3 to 5 crews running as subcontractors that do the work for the materials that we sell. We do cash and carry, but we also offer the added benefit that we will install anything that you buy from us. So I would say 90% of what we sell, we do install.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, you still have everything up top, so going down from 18 guys is probably working. So what we want to talk about today is you like the picky people. You like the people that have been burned by a contractor in the past. And I'm 100% on board with that because I love them too. I don't mind that they want to look over my shoulder, and I don't mind that they're coming in and they're like, oh, hey, like maybe that one board, like, can we not put it there? Like if they catch it in time, like cool. Right. I had a lady that was like culling through hardwood I was installing once, and she found a board that looked like it had a heart on it. She was like, can you put that in the doorway to my bedroom? I was like, sure, why not? Like, who cares? She's out of my way, off in a corner, like digging through the hardwood. I don't care. Whatever. You want that one there? Sure. Set it aside. I'll take care of you. No worries. but she was thrilled. Like, she loved it. So I'm 100% on board. What I want to do is I want to start a little bit backwards, because I think one reason you're probably a little bit that way is sand and finish work is highly detailed, but you were working with your dad. So what was that upbringing like? You obviously were raised around it. So, were you out helping him as a kid, or did you not even get involved until you were old enough to really get on the tools and start working with them?
So I helped him as a child. I remember holding the cord for him when he would run the big machine. At the time, we didn't have vacuum systems with our equipment at the time. So he ran a Hummel, and he had 5 guys that ran Hummels for him. And then it went to, me needing summer money, right? During the summertime, we grew up in a resort area, and my mom cleaned houses and my dad sanded floors. So I didn't come from a affluent family where in the area I live, people have a lot of money, and my parents didn't. They made me work for anything that I was provided. So, I went from holding the cord, watching him run that machine, to, hand sanding the corners that he would scrape or his hourly employees would scrape. And then I decided I absolutely did not want to have anything to do with what my father did for a living. And I went in the restaurant business and bussed tables and ran food. It wasn't long after that I realized I didn't like doing that either, and I could make a lot more money helping my father.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm not making any money over here. That wasn't so bad.
Right.
So I mean, go ahead.
So my father, being that we live in the Hilton Head area, we have a affluent area where we have the retirement communities that we were talking about before with Margaritaville and Sun City. But we also have gated communities in this area where we have homes that are from $1 million and up. And those were the homes with there's so many houses around this area with concrete slabs where the pre-finished flooring market became such a big thing. But the homes that had sand and finish work were in those gated communities where they had a crawl space and, subfloors that they could have solid nail down flooring. So I grew up with my father. My grandfather built houses. My uncle was an architect. So I've grown up with this in my blood, which made sense for me to go in this direction. And they were ball busters, They would replace things that the homeowner necessarily didn't have an issue with, but they had an issue with it. And they had a reputation to stand behind. And I mean, I can't tell you, Kyle, how many times that I felt like I was doing the right thing by representing my father. But, on new construction jobs that we worked on, keep your mouth shut, keep your head down, and do what I ask you. And, these are very high-end clients that we're doing work for, and I don't want you talking to them. So, the quality of work, I mean, if the color wasn't perfect, you resanded the floor. So that attention to detail, I have always grown up around that eagle eye customer. That was mostly my father, not the customer. And that's kind of how I look at my business today and the guys that work for us today.
Well, so it was ingrained from you. It wasn't necessarily that the customers of your father were picky. It was that he was picky because he was a perfectionist. And I get it when you're truly a craftsman, right? You're your own worst critic, and we go and nitpick all the little details in anything we create. And we're, over there it's messed up, and over here it's messed up. And like, it's easier not to be questioned at that point. If you're questioning it, the answer is yes, go fix it, because if you question it, then it's not up to par. So I think that's a good lesson to be learned. It depends on how far we take it at that point. You can start losing money on projects if you take it too far, but there's a balance. There's a way to be able to provide a high-end service while making sure that you hit as close to perfection as possible. So that translated into eventually, you run off, you're on your own, you build this business up. And how did that work when you had like before you even had your flooring store, you had 18 guys working under you. So how did this model of I want damn near perfection work when you had 18 guys under you that you couldn't manage?
Working 7 days a week. In the gated communities, you could only work from 7 to 7. Mm-hmm. And I would, all the homes we would work in were new construction, and we would put trash bags in the windows and we would black it out and park the vans in the garage. And if I couldn't rely on the help to get it done, I was personally doing it myself. So I would work with crews, mm-hmm. and I had 4 lead guys, 4 crews running, doing sand and finishing all at the same time. And I had 3 other guys that I could count on, one being my father. And we had hourly employees at that time. I hated the business during that time, absolutely despised it, but it paid the bills and it took care of the family.
But I mean, if your like, how did you control the standard, right? If your standard and your father's standard is way up here, just knowing the industry, right? The average person is, in the middle. They're not pushing for that high end. So knowing that you have an almost unrealistic expectation, and because people will accept much less than perfection. It's just, that's the truth of it. How did having that high expectation work with having 4 crews running? Like, were you constantly having to go back and nitpick everything, or did you lower your standard during that time?
Never once did we lower our standard. I mean, I think we took on a lot of guys that didn't have experience, and we were willing to train them and teach them. And because we were working with them on our hands and knees ourselves, Kyle, if you worked for me and you're installing with me and I'm asking you and showing you how to do something, and I'm right there with you on the job, 8 to 10 hours a day, maybe 15 hours a day, working side by side with you, you're going to give me a little bit more respect than you are a salesperson in the store critiquing your work.
Yes.
I mean, so there comes a level of how you talk to people and how you teach them to do things. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important in our industry to, treat people the way you would want to be treated. And, that goes a long way in this business. A lot of times it's not the hourly wage of the $20 or $32 an hour you're going to pay them. It's the pat on the back to let them know that they're doing a good job, even though their standards may not be where you want them, but to give them a little pat on that back to let them know they're doing a good job and they're going in the right direction.
No, I think company culture goes a long way. It's not always about the money. You're right. The pat on the back, the attaboy, hey, we're going to have, cookout on Friday at my house. Come and, let's be a family and eat together. Like, those things go a long way.
Right. Now, I can tell you this, we created competition with each other that everyone wanted to do great work, because there was incentives for jobs being completed on time, everyone showing up on time, and us, finally getting paid for that job without having to redo the job or having to have a list of punch list items. So, you create a friendly competition within the crews. Everyone wants to outshine the next person.
Okay. No, I agree. Like I said, you fostered a culture that was healthy. It was fun. People want to come to work. They want to participate. They want to hit your expectations, especially when you're on the ground, not yelling and screaming and pushing them the direction you want them to go, but actually leading them in the direction they want to go because you're there doing it with them. So I think that's a fabulous example, and I would love to see more of it, right? I mean, you hear the stories of, and maybe your dad did this too, but like your dad is of the generation of the guys that are going to throw a trowel at you or, whatever it's going to be to, you're an idiot. Like, just go do what I said. But it seems like he may not have been that way. He may have been hard on you, but he was showing you the correct way to do things and how to actually lead a team forward instead of just being the guy that's cursing at the help and screaming at him, and then you just want to work hard enough not to get yelled at.
Yes. Yeah. And we're still this way today, Kyle. I mean, I haven't done any work personally for 5 years. My father is still on his hands and knees working every single day. And the culture that we have at Nick's Flooring and Design is that, you know, there's times that I go to the job site and I work for an hour here, 3 hours there. But creating that culture where we create that competitive. I mean, everyone wants to do good work and get that pat on the back that they've done a good job, and look back and, you know, reviews online. If you see a review on my business page and a customer wants to know how they can write a review, I do not want to take credit for the review or the work that was done there. I want that customer to mention whoever was on that job site that delivered verbally what I promised. So if that's Michael, if that's Kyle, that's who I want mentioned in that review, along with the salesperson that delivered and communicated and, you know, helped the process as well.
Well, it's all about the team. It's you bring up a really good point about running a business. So at first I was, you know, okay, so I run Illustrious Hardwoods. That's who I am. That's what I do. But I started getting reviews and everything was Kyle. I specifically asked clients now, I'm like, can you not put my name in the review and just say Illustrious Hardwoods or the installer, or like, can you make it generic? And as I start building a team, I will ask them to specifically mention the team members that were used. And one, I want the credit to go where it actually is deserved, but two, I want to own a brand and not have it be 100% associated with me. And you're going to have something a lot more valuable when it's not, I need Kyle. It's, I can hire Illustrious Hardwoods, or I can hire Nick's Flooring and Design to do this project, and they're going to knock it out of the ballpark because the team will handle it. It's not, you see all the time that guys are complaining like, oh, well, the client's not happy because I sent Jim and Tom over there, and they're calling me and blowing up my phone of, why aren't you the one installing my shower? Or why aren't you the one putting the floor in? Well, there may have been a communication issue in that, of them not saying that, hey, I have team members, but they're stuck in everybody wants them, and that's not a good place to be when you're trying to scale your business, because you can't do it all. You just can't.
When you sold the job, you were communicating with them and you were available to them to answer all their questions and handle anything that they needed, that they were concerned about. If you were on a job doing a shower or a floor, how would you, being the owner, the operator, the estimator, the measurement guy, the quality control, you just can't do it all, and that's where in today's world, I think in construction, it becomes especially in a booming economy like we have now, where everyone is busier than they've ever been, creating that business model to where, I don't even let my salespeople manage the jobs that they're selling. I have a separate scheduling department, project manager, so creating a business structure in anything as simple as flooring, tile, cabinetry is very important. And what I have found, Kyle, is that my customers, I don't even sell in my store, but they definitely don't want my salespeople managing the job because they're salespeople, and the more structure that you have, the more the client gravitates to that, because most of the people that we do work for, they come from corporate world.
Yeah.
And they really, really appreciate that. As long as it's done right, that structure. And I have somebody that Jerry Livingston, if I'm pronouncing his last name right, I mean, he's trying to help a lot of people in this industry, and I haven't talked to him a whole lot, but I see him in the groups and stuff, trying to, do more than others are doing by giving feedback. And you're doing the same thing, Kyle, where I gravitated towards you and I wanted to do this podcast with you because, you know, part of that education and that culture that I've been accustomed to since I was 15 years old is part of what made me love this business. I went from a hate this business, love this business, hate this business, God, I hate this business, I need to find a new career, to I'm opening a second location, and I've even gotten involved in cabinetry. Why? It's because I love people, I love relationships, and I didn't get into this business at 15 years old. I was holding a cord from my dad with the sander before 15 years old, but I didn't, it wasn't for nothing. I don't have a skill set that I learned from the time I was very young that I'm not going to pass along to someone to teach them how to be able to use their hands to make extremely, extremely good money for their families. And I like that education process to teach people how to do things that I've learned over the years how to do.
Well, it's important. I mean, it's basic. We can't continue as a species if we don't teach each other stuff, which is actually, I haven't even thought of this before when I've gotten into this argument, actually, is people with a scarcity mindset just don't make sense to me. Why would you not want to pass on the information? And now that I thought about it a little bit more, and the fact that I mentioned that we can't continue as a species if we don't pass on knowledge, how does that work when it's in a trade? Like, why are you hiding trades from your apprentice? Why aren't you teaching them how to do it all? How do you expect it to continue on and grow and thrive if you're keeping stuff back? That's insane.
But I'm going to tell you that there are old school guys out there that are never going to teach Kyle and Kenny how to do what they do because they're afraid that you're listen, I'm not going to teach you what I know for you to take money off my family's table.
I mean, look, I look at it as if I teach you and you can go compete on a equal level or better, we're raising the bar in our local area. And that'll continue to promote that kind of work, and the people at the bottom will struggle more and more as we continue to raise the bar. So I'd rather put it out there. If you want to go and do your thing and like compete to as quickly as possible to the bottom, feel free. I mean, there was just a post in my Arizona flooring installer group today, and the guy posted just an ugly shower. Apparently somebody did 2 showers for $2,800, like 2 3x5 tub surrounds and some other, like, the showers are going to fail. There's like an inch thick grout joint at the top of by the ceiling. The niche has the subway tiles at an angle like this, as opposed to like the rest of the shower where it's semi-straight. It was absolutely hideous. You can tell this thing's going to fail, and that I don't even know how you do labor on 2 showers for $2,800, but okay. But it got a discussion going in that group, and people were, starting to talk, man, like, yeah, we really got to raise the bar, and we need to communicate more, and we need to push other people to up the trade. And it's people communicating that are raising the standard, as opposed to the guy that's doing 2 showers for $2,800. He's going to go knock another 2 showers out for $2,800, and they're going to suck, and he's going to cost somebody a lot of money. And eventually, hopefully he goes out of business or finds somebody to educate him. But he's the one scared to pass on his skills. But he doesn't have any skills.
He shouldn't be passing them on. Right?
No, but that's what keeps happening.
Saying is teach someone and train them to where if they become your competition, you're not racing to the bottom on pricing. Because as long as I train you and teach you how to do what I do in the way we do things, you're going to have to charge what I charge. If you want to be profitable, you're not going to be able to underbid me. So if we're going to both do things the same way, and I'm going to train you and give you the knowledge to be able to use the same materials and the same products that we use, and you want to go off on your own, and unless you're going to go without making any money, I mean, you got to charge. So,
Yeah.
that is a healthy competition in the local area that you're gonna be in, is that you want to teach people and train people. And I think that we're all starting to catch on to that.
I think it's growing. I'm less, my thing is I'm not worried about the guys that are close to retirement. If we have this installation crisis and the average age of an installer is like 50 plus, look, if somebody 50 plus wants to hop on the wagon here with me and hang out, I'm all for it. But I'm not so worried about them. I'm worried about anybody that's willing to come into this industry. Because if they're learning wrong from the get-go, that's why we struggle to keep people around, in my opinion. And I want to make sure that the education is there and easily accessible for anybody coming in so that they can see how much fun it is, how you can gain a passion for it, how it can be lucrative, and how it can be really rewarding to make a difference in people's lives. That's what I'm after with this. Is look, if I can get somebody towards the tail end of their career involved with it, let's do it. But I want that young guy stepping in, because let's make the industry, we got to leave it better than we found it. And I stepped in, and it wasn't a bad industry, but it was kind of it's a hot mess for sure.
Right. And that's because there's a lot of older guys. I mean, that's our culture here at Nick's Flooring, is there's a lot of kids that are going to, especially through the new world that we live in, but due to COVID, I mean, kids are going to college now, and they're doing one semester, and they're realizing it's not what they had in their mind, and college is not what they thought it was going to be. And they're at college doing classes on Zoom still in a dorm away from home. So a lot of kids finish first semester and they move back home, and they want to work, they want to make money while they're doing classes at their local community college. So those are the guys that I'm after, that we're hiring, that doesn't have the experience, that they want to learn a trade, and their parents are hard workers and they are hard workers as well. So we're taking these young adults, I should say, and we're giving them the skills to be able to have careers. And we're teaching, God, I tell them all the time, I'm like, you guys are so lucky, because I didn't have the resources when I was 19 years old, and we are saving you. We're showing you how to do things the right way from the jump. Like 20 years ago, we had to do it the wrong way to learn how to do it. We didn't have the Facebook groups, and we didn't have the support system and the internet that we have today.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. I mean, just the way it's changed. Look, I love this conversation, but I want to, and I'm happy to have it, and we have it all the time, but I want to get us a little bit back on track to where we were going. Although it's funny though, because we're picking up kids that are, hopefully we're making them picky, but they're regretful about their college experience. So it's kind of related. You had your partner, and he was into like the turn and burn 'em in retirement communities, and you were the high end guy. And so there's a significant difference between that type of work, and it ended up not working out. But what was the biggest fundamental difference you saw between the two different types of clientele that you were going after at the time and that he was going after at the time?
That is a great question. I mean, it is what we all struggle with as business owners, right? It is, do we sell every job that comes through the store because our ego gets in the way, and we make 15% profit margin on that job, and other jobs we're at a 30% profit margin on the job, because the customer sees the value in what we have to offer and the high-end quality that we offer? But then on the 15% margin job that you sold, I mean, how do you pay commission on that to your salespeople? How do you invest back into the business so it continues to grow? And that customer is looking, I mean, they don't see the value, whether or not they've had installers that just didn't do a good job for them. And the flooring world, the tile world is a commodity, and they're 85 years old, and they would do the work if they weren't 85 years old. But because they can do the work, they don't really see the value in paying you what you truly deserve, so you can profitable as a business owner. But then you got the other end of the business, and it's like, do we look at working on volume, or do we work at looking on quality of business?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we were. I was looking at higher profit margins within the industry and I don't mind telling you, cherry picking my jobs. I'm okay with you not hiring me, Kyle.
Yep. Love it.
Kyle, you might drink boxed wine. It's okay. My mother-in-law, I could buy a $500 bottle of wine. She's going to drink the boxed wine. She doesn't care for it. She likes it better.
Yep.
It's okay. And that's where he was.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to sell every job that walked through the door, regardless of the profit margin, because he wanted to crush the competition. Well, he really was only crushing his own business, is what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
One mistake and you're in trouble, right?
Well, how do you ever have any money to pay for a mistake? There isn't any.
You don't.
Well, that was the nail in the coffin, was him wanting to go down to line of credit.
Yeah, my wife's in the background, and that was the nail in the coffin. Is he came to me and wanted me to co-sign for a business loan from our local bank that we banked at, to be able to put money in the business, because there was mistakes that had happened. And he went to the bank and got approved for the loan, but he needed my signature because my name was on the business before his was. And I wasn't willing to sign for the line of credit. So
knowing that there should be
cash flow. Yeah, we should have had way more cash flow. The jobs that I was doing was supporting the mistakes that he was doing. We were just on two different ends of the spectrum. And listen, I learned a lot from the guy. I don't want to voice an opinion on anything other than we had two different business philosophies. I did learn a lot from him. He did help me get off my hands and knees. I would still be installing if it wasn't for him.
Okay. No, and I look, we're not here to trash anybody. That's not what this show is after. What we're after is the knowledge to be gained from mistakes made. And that's, look, can you run a successful, high volume, low margin business? Yes. People do it all the time. I don't personally I don't like running that way. That I'm with you. Like, I want those high margin, cherry picked projects.
I had a conversation with a builder that is a national builder that represents themselves as a custom home builder. They get the homes that they build for $1 million to $2 million, but they are a national builder with their own showroom, but they cannot buy direct. They get rebates on the back end. They get Mannington, Shaw, and Mohawk's price sheet. They know what the retailer pays for the product. They're only willing to pay a certain margin above that. It's extremely low, Kyle.
Not bad.
And they think that they want you only to make money if the customer upgrades from a level 1 to a level 4. And there's a lot of flooring companies out there that operate on production builders. And you better have a lot of cash flow in the bank to be able to do it. Is all I can say. And I tip my hat off to those guys that can run a flooring business, that they operate with the lower margins, higher volume. If they're not bald at 40 years old, God bless them. They must have good genes.
I have an interview coming up with a guy that specializes in new build construction work. So we're gonna explore that business model, and he's
Production
done it. Correct, yes, he's done it. He does it very successfully. But not everyone's mindset is that way. You and I, it just, for me to go into, I only do residential remodel work. That's where I want to be. I want to be able to, and I want to compete at the high end of the market. I think your average retail store competes on the mediocre business model. Can you run higher profit margins and hit 40 to 60% profit margins selling a lot of carpet and LVPs? Yes. But then the labor side generally seems a little low to me. But those guys are out there just pumping out work, and the average homeowner doesn't know what they're looking at and will accept it.
But never use them as a repeat business.
There's that chance too. I know lots. Like you mentioned Jerry Levinson earlier. So Carpets of Arizona does a really good job, and they get tons of referrals and repeat business and whatnot. But I think in the grand, and he doesn't compete on price. I know he doesn't, but in the grand scheme of things, I think it's still like they stay competitive with the other retailers in the area. And when you're competing at that level for that many jobs to keep that many people busy, it's just kind of ho-hum. Like, you're definitely not competing at the top of the market. And that's me being small and only having to keep myself busy and slowly grow. I'm realizing, yes, there's less opportunity for work because there's less people in that pool, but I'm much happier to find ways to keep myself busy with that pool of work. And then if I can expand it to 2 crews and 3 crews, and you can start kind of changing the way a market operates and looks at things, that's what I'm looking to do. Is I want to change the view my market has on the services, not find the market for the services as they are, if that makes sense. And I think that's probably what you're trying to do too, is like that's why you have design services. That's why you like the higher end picky clients that have probably been burned by a contractor. These are the people that are willing, you walk in the door and oh, that's the price? Okay, whatever. Like, just go take care of it. I don't really care. Those are my favorite people. They're not sitting there trying to, nitpick pricing.
Yes. And so you're absolutely right, Kyle. We want the customer that has had the shower installed that only lasted 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
We want the customer that has had the production builder have the advanced flooring and builders wholesales do the work, because they do the production builder work and they know what bad work looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Those customers are willing to pay. Now, again, some of the customers are okay with that type of work and they don't know any better. And again, that's okay. But I'm looking for the customer that has had the shower that's leaked, that wants perfection, that they've had the vinyl plank flooring installed in a pattern where every butt joint lines up and it fails because it comes apart due to not leveling, or just because it is a poor layout. You know, those are the customers that we're looking for, the ones that they've been burned by someone. And maybe that's not the right term to use, but in the groups now, we're talking consistently about raising prices, right? And charging we've seen prices increase around us 5 times in the last, maybe 10 times in the last 2 years, right?
Oh yeah.
So manufacturers are having pricing increases. Roofers, framers, tile contractors. When is the guy on his hands and knees installing flooring going to get a price increase?
Whenever he decides he wants one. That's at least, look, I raised my prices at the start of the year. I don't know why anybody else. I know people that have, but why wouldn't you? That's exactly it. If you're watching all the prices go up around you, why aren't you raising your prices? Why aren't you, go back and listen to my episode. The gentleman ran my spreadsheet and he realized he was like going broke, and he actually went to the owner of the store and was like, I need more money. And they gave it to him. Right. Go ask. Just go ask. And if they don't want to, somebody else will. If there's an installation crisis, there's how many other stores around you? Go find the store that's willing to work with you for you and the rates you want. Someone's going to hire you. You don't have to be stuck where you're at. Come on.
You have to be able to deliver the floor prep and do the job where you can stand behind it, know it's not going to fail, and if there's a problem, go back and take care of it in order to increase your prices.
I 100% agree. You got to do it right. You got to do it right. You can't half-ass it. You got to do it right. But there's money to be had when you want to put in the effort. I got to interrupt us for 1 second, and then we're going to get right back to this.
Okay.
The International Surface Event, the annual flooring, stone, and tile sourcing experience in Las Vegas, has a unique experience for the industry. Introducing the Surfaces show home, Calibu Vineyard by Jennifer Farrell. Surfaces is working with celebrity design and TV host Jennifer Farrell to develop a 7,300 square foot showroom in California. Nope, show home in California. The home is under construction, but due to the technology from Visualizer Plus, the industry can experience virtual room reveals each month. Then plan to view Calibu Vineyard in person or virtually summer 2022 during the home tours. Visit www.calibuvineyard.com now to sign up and join the journey. Okay, so we've got... People can raise prices, but they have to do the work right. That's what it comes down to, is there's lots of subpar work in the industry, but there are people doing it right, and they're able to command higher pricing. Some of that has to do with clientele that you go after. Some of that has to do with sales abilities. There's lots of, it's multifaceted, but what is most attractive to you about this higher end clientele that you are seeking, that they may have been burned by a contractor in the past or received subpar work, or they make a higher than average income and they have the disposable income, let's say, to afford a higher priced install?
Kyle, it's the custom work. It's the education to educate the client that appreciates how we do things. And the custom work is what is separating us, that makes guys that are new to the industry, these young adults that want to get into the industry, to sit back and say, wow, look at that work. Look at those, the satisfaction that we get from doing a vinyl plank floor job to the satisfaction that we get doing a French oak 9.5, 10 inches wide that is a two-tone. It took 3 stain jobs and we wire brushed it. That custom work is what makes me wake up every morning. And, I don't want to say that I think like a homeowner does, that, our business is a commodity, but manufacturers are making floors these days that homeowners can install themselves if they choose to, right? Maybe the prep work is a little challenging for them, but
yes,
a talented person that reads the directions and does a little research, yes, they could figure it out, right?
Yes.
So
yes,
custom work, they're not going to figure it out. You doing a herringbone with a vinyl plank, that's attractive to me. You don't have every vinyl plank manufacturer making a nice product that you can do in a herringbone.
Correct. The way I explain it to my clients is I tell them, look, you're not hiring me to do the big rectangle in your living room. Like, I could train you how to do that in 20 minutes. You're paying me because I know how to get it into the next room and through the doorway and then connect it with everything else, or wrap it around this island that's in the middle of your home, and then you have another actual island in your kitchen, and then it still all lines up and connects. That's what you pay me for. It's not the rectangle. Right. If you want one room, I'll sell you the product. I'll come out and give you an hour lesson, and you can knock it out the park. Like, let's not fool ourselves. But I think the key word to me that you said was education. And I'm not trying to sell on price, and you're not either, because you're not going to sell on price when you're the most expensive guy. But the education is what I think nobody else is offering, because they are outselling on price. And it's being able to give people the information they need to make an informed decision. And then when they start asking you questions and you can answer them, it's really interesting to tell somebody that you're not worried about them hiring you, and you just want them to be able to make the best decision for where they're at, and that they can be happy with. And they just kind of look at you like, wait, what? Did you just tell me you don't care about my job? Like, really respectfully? It weirds people out, and it makes you more valuable to them, because you because you don't care. I honestly don't care when I tell clients that. I'm like, look, I'm not worried about selling you on this project. Like, I just want you to be able to make an informed decision from contractor A, B, and C. That's all I want you to be able to do. And it's when they can go and do that, then they generally end up picking me because I spent time with them and actually taught them about the process and the experience and how I'm going to help them through it, as opposed to pick a product, here's your measurements, now I slap it down in your house. Like, it's just a much different experience, and that education plays a huge role in how it all works.
I could be wrong, and you're absolutely right, Kyle. I mean, the custom work, more importantly, the education, right? The customer that's had it done the wrong way, that wants to know, how are you going to do it? And, you know, your quote, I've gotten 3 quotes. Your quote is extremely more expensive. Explain why. I love that customer.
Yes.
Right. I mean, I don't want their eyes to glaze over, but that's what, you know, we like to, and we enjoy talking about. And installing it correctly, I hear Jerry say this, that goes without saying.
Yes.
You have to install the product correctly. Right? But another part of that is, I need you to look the part, right? I need you to be alert. Don't come to work smelling like alcohol.
I did.
I'm sorry.
Correct. I mean, yes. You don't need to smell like you were getting blazed up in the van before you got there. Yes, exactly.
It's part of why I hated the business before, with 18 guys working with me, right? So if you're going to charge the high-end clients, you're going to go after the high-end clients, and you're wanting top dollar, your guys on your crew better look the part, play the part. And I'm talking about, have the job site clean. You never know when the homeowner is going to walk in, even on a new construction. The builder might walk in, the architect, the designer. Have the place clean. Don't leave trash everywhere. And when they come into the job site, they're going to say, wow, this company is delivering everything that they said they were going to do. Matter of fact, don't even set the bar too high, so that you don't look bad, number one, when your employees make you look bad, but you want to overachieve what you do, you told them you're going to deliver.
Yes.
So, and I think that's what a lot of people struggle with is, come to the job site with your tools, nice tools, the new technology of tools like your IQ saws that don't put out dust, your concrete grinders, know the products on the leveling, know when to use what leveler and where to use that leveler, know how to check for moisture, right? You can't go charge top dollar and get into the custom market when you don't know how to check for moisture, and you cannot stand behind the warranty that the manufacturer offers, because you don't have the documentation to stand behind the warranty. Because I promise you that inspector will find fault in what we do as installers.
Yep.
So you have to know how to back that up. And that comes with value when you can offer those things.
Yes. And there you go. Look, when you have the people that want this experience, when that's the market you want to get after, there has to be value, okay? And so when people buy something, I may go look at a stereo for my car, and let's say it costs $300 to replace the factory unit, okay? The value of that $300 stereo needs to be more than the $300 I have burning a hole in my pocket, because otherwise it's a bad trade, right? I'm not going to give $300 for something I only value at $200. So if you're telling somebody that their floor or their shower or this total remodel is going to cost $50,000, you better be offering more than $50,000 in value to them so that they can see it. And I think that's where people are struggling, is when they go to sell and the homeowner turns them down, and you present a $20,000 shower and they're like, wow, you're way higher than everybody else. you didn't present the value to make them see that this $20,000 is way more than what they're getting. They don't understand that the waterproofing behind it is going to give them a shower that can survive an atomic bomb and still function. They don't know the little intricate details and time that you've taken to study to be able to put the pieces in there in a certain pattern, and how you know which trowel to use, and you're not just grabbing the closest one to you at the end of your trailer as you walk out of it. Like, how you're going to keep their home clean. An air scrubber can go a very long way in telling a client, hey, look, we're going to put an air scrubber in here. It's going to circulate the air in this room 5 times an hour, and it's going to keep all the dust out of the air. Who's not going to love you at that point? Like, there's little things you can do to build in value that cost you next to nothing. A big one that I do is I go and you can buy sweeping compound, right? You can go to the big box store. You can buy sweeping compound. You sprinkle it on the ground before you sweep the room. It keeps down like 90% of the dust that would have gotten kicked up. I can add, at the point I started offering that, I started charging 25 cents more a square foot to install. I think the bag costs $50 and it covers 1,500 square feet. It added, maybe 20 minutes of time or whatever, but like the value to the client that their home stays clean and nobody else offers this. They were like, wow, okay. It didn't matter that I was a couple $100 more. It's a no-brainer.
Dust is a big thing with clients in their house and coming to install a floor, but they got to spend $500 with a construction claim to have it clean when you leave.
Correct. Or build it into your price. What if you built $500 into your price and they never saw it? And I have a cleaning lady that comes. There you go. It's genius.
Yeah. I forget what I was going to say, but the point I'm trying to get to, Kyle, is the point my father was at. When we do the things that we're talking about doing and the impact we're trying to have on the industry with the resources, we got so many resources to make us amazing, right?
Yes.
My father didn't have that. He didn't have it.
Yeah.
Do you know that I never once saw him quote a job, ever? He never went and even measured the job. He would, and the reason I know this, he would have us measure the job while we were there doing it, and give the builder the price after we finished the job. He would have jobs lined up, 10 houses on one street. Builders would call and say, when you can fit me in, the house is ready. And I have a builder that we're doing work for now. He doesn't call me anymore and ask me to bid his houses. I don't even give him prices when we start the jobs. And when you build that trust and you've given them that education and you've earned that relationship with that builder, you just go do the work. Yes. When you hit that high-end custom work, they quit asking you for prices. They just want to know when can you get there? When can we have this done by, so we can continue with other projects in the house. And that's the point. I've got one builder, soon to be 2 builders right now that's like that with us. I'm getting to the point where if you come in and you ask me what something costs, I don't even want to talk to you anymore. If you're asking for quotes, you can't afford me.
That's amazing. I love it. No, it's great. Yes. I have I have a client that's a repeat client right now. She's friends with somebody else that I did work for. And so she's a counselor at a public school. Not exactly the highest paying job. But so she changed houses from the house I originally put flooring in, and she's in a new home. Her sink had a leak, and the laminate floors that were in there are now ruined. She needs to get them replaced. She calls me. She says, look, the insurance people are coming out. They say I can use whoever I want. I want you to do the floors, Kyle. I know you're going to do a bang up job. I can't
Amazon or UPS.
I can't have somebody do this and screw it up. And so she's the type of person that's like nitpicky on price. And so like I got a text the other day and she was like, do you mark up your flooring or do you sell it at your cost? And I just sent back the simple reply of, I have overhead on my store, and if a problem ever arises, I'm going to handle everything with the manufacturer for you. So I have to charge more. Okay, that makes sense. She's looking over the bid and she's like, hey, what's this delivery fee all about? And I'm like, well, I got to go pick everything up and I got to bring it to your house. Well, if I have access to a truck, can I go pick it up? Well, sure. Yeah, I'll take it off if you want to go do that. But point being is like, she's not typically my ideal client, but she gets it because she was like, well, okay, it makes sense. You have to go pick it up and you're using your gas. Like she can put it together while I'm charging for it, but she just doesn't have a lot of money. I'm not the guy she would normally hire, but she wants to hire me because of the experience I provided the first time around. She's like, look, it's a no-brainer. I know you're not going to screw this up. These things are going to be bulletproof. So even you can win projects that you normally wouldn't win if you can show the value. You may just have to deal with some stupid questions along the way, and that's okay. You want to go pick up the floors? Fine. Look, that's one less delivery I have to personally do now. Go borrow your friend's truck and go pick that stuff up and make sure that it all gets inside because it's got to acclimate. You can't just drop it in the garage. Like you got to haul them all inside now, and I don't have to do any of that. So yeah, no, I'm not making $250, but I don't have to waste 3 hours of my time. So it's a win-win. And I think that's, do I want the person like you're talking about that doesn't even ask for a bid and they're just like, just send me the bill when you're done. Yeah, I love that person. But I'm okay.
You got to be fair with them. Fair with them.
Yes.
I mean, you can't take advantage of that because it will only last so long if you do.
Yeah, you can be expensive, but you can be fair. Yes, you're 100% correct. But there's clients out there that if you just give them the right information, they may want to try and like pinch a penny here and there. You know, you want to do the removal yourself? Fine. You can take out your carpet, save a few $100s. That kind of stuff doesn't bother me. And I line item my estimates because honestly, I don't care. Like if you're going to price shop me against someone else, I don't care. I really don't.
What if they want to move their furniture?
I don't move furniture. My clients move their own furniture. I'm telling, dude, I have a really crazy business model. Like I am not doing the normal thing over here. I walk into homes. I'm like, so I can move the furniture, but it's an additional expense to everything else I'm quoting, or you can move it yourself. Oh, we'll move it. Okay. Well, that's good. Cause I work by myself and I prefer not to, cause it's really a pain in my butt. Like I get it. When you listen to like Jerry's all about offering that, friction-free experience. I offer a experience with a lot of friction because you got to do a lot of stuff. I'm dropping off baseboards. Guess what? You got to paint them. I don't paint them because they're best painted before they're installed. You got to move your own furniture. But if you see something in like if I'm giving you a quote, it's at $10,000 and you need it to be at 9 and you're calling me up asking me if I can sharpen my pencil. First thing out of my mouth is you can save $500 by tearing out your own carpet, tack strip, and padding. Oh, okay. We'll do that.
Like in an economy, right. Like, I don't know if you were doing the flooring during the recession of 2008 through 12, but during that time, I wish a customer would want to take out their carpet. The phone just overnight quit ringing. I couldn't find a repair, and I think that's what we all need to be careful of right now is if a customer is willing to pay you top dollar, are they paying you top dollar because you're the only person that can start the job today and they want it done today? And there's a lot of money in the market right now? Or are they really hiring you and paying you top dollar because they're willing to wait for you for 4 to 8 weeks?
Yes.
And that's what we have to look at ourselves in the mirror and make sure that we're not getting top dollar in this market because we think our schedule's busy, but really, if we had 10 guys working for us, would it be that busy? And is it busy because we're available pretty quickly to do things because in this world, we've become Amazon has spoiled us with the internet of pushing a button. Like something just showed up at my front door that we ordered late last night.
Yeah.
So when someone, it usually takes a customer, from my experience in the 20 years, it takes them 2 years to make a decision. The residential customer doing a
Yes.
remodel,
Yep.
a new flooring or a bathroom, they've known for 2 years that they want to do that project, and they've had an idea of what it costs, but they haven't pulled the trigger on it really because they've been through it before and it wasn't a great experience. And then when they finally make the phone call that they have the $10,000 to spend, they don't want to wait 8 weeks or 3 months to do it.
Yep.
So if you're the guy that's closing those jobs at a higher rate because you're right there available to do it when other people are booked for 3 months, what's going to happen when things slow down again? Because they will slow down again.
Yes.
So I think that's where Jerry's coming from, where offering that friction-free white glove, I call it, service. And I don't want you to move your furniture. I'm moving it because I charge extra for it. I send a painter to paint your baseboards and your shoe molding. And I really only, if you want to do anything, it's just remove the small stuff. So when I move your furniture,
Correct.
I don't break anything.
Yep.
And that white glove service has added value in that, to where I hope that when things slow down again, my phone is still ringing.
Yes. And I agree with you. This is coming from the guy that's still on the floor all by himself, right? Like I have to tailor my business to fit my current model. It's not to say that it can't change. If I had space in a backyard to put 400 linear feet of baseboard in it, dude, you can bet that I would be running over to the box store buying a paint sprayer and charging $1 a linear foot to paint those bad boys and getting them done in 30 minutes. Like,
of course you would.
It's a no-brainer, right? I can teach my 12-year-old to do it and start paying him. Here, man, here's $50. Go paint those baseboards out there. I'd be all over it. So would he.
And I'm not referring to you. I'm saying
in general, yeah.
In general.
And I think that if you're the guy that's readily available and taking project after project, there's something to be said. I see a lot of guys like, oh man, I don't know why everyone's saying it's like super busy and like I can't find work to save my life. Like that concerns me because why can't you find work? Stores are begging for installers and homeowners are like making multiple calls. Now, granted, the way my phone's been ringing lately, it's been all people that are like, Kyle, we just want to wait for you. And so now it's 8 weeks out and it's going to be 10 weeks out and then it's 12 weeks out. And I can keep increasing the prices trying to drive away solid referrals, but apparently it's not working and repeat clients. And that's what I think will make the difference in a recession is when you have those people that are like just they're like raving lunatics about your business because you've offered such an experience that they don't care how long the wait is. They don't care what the price is. They know that you're going to show up and take care of them because you presented value beyond what you're actually charging. And that's what I think can help make your business recession proof, because those are the people that even in a recession, if they come up with something that needs to be done and you can handle that service, they're calling you. Doesn't matter. It's not about finding the cheapest guy at that point. It's about finding the person that's going to do it right and be able to make sure that that dollar gets spent very wisely.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Go ahead. So we got different business models. You got the guys like, and I can't wait to hear the podcast that you're going to have with the guy that goes after the production market. If there's a way I can do the production market and the builders that build 150 homes a year and be profitable at doing it without pulling my hair out, and he can shed some light on that. Yeah. I want to hear.
Correct. And that's the point. Like I can't figure it out. I don't know how to do it. I don't do commercial work because I don't know that world, but it's so high paced, fast turnover, like production work, that I'm just like, nah, I like working slow. But that's me. Other people get it and they're very successful at it. So I love doing those interviews that are outside of my normal scope. So yeah, that'll be coming out shortly after yours. So a week or two after, I believe. So everyone can look forward to that.
Okay.
What? Go ahead.
Let me just give a plug to Towel Nation.
No.
If anyone was at Surfaces, okay, talking about the education in the business and the high-end work and the custom work, Nick's Flooring and Design, I'm taking my 2 best installers next week to Omaha, Nebraska. And if anyone wants to get into the porcelain panel business, I mean, there's so much opportunity there for installers in the thin gauge porcelain panels. And that is the true custom work that's going to take your business to the next level. And I can tell you that Italy has made such an investment. I can remember when tiles were 3x6, what was it, 4x4 and a 3x6. And then it went to a 12x12. And then a 12x24 customer saying is a large tile. That's a big, that tile fit in my 30 square foot bathroom floor because it's so big, right? Maybe I need a 12x12 to make it look bigger. Yeah. And I think that Italy has made somewhere around a few $billion investment into the tools and the technology to make these panels and to make tiles bigger and larger. And if you're a tile installer out there and you want to keep installing tile, they're not going to stop making the tile smaller.
Correct. They're making everything. They're making everything bigger. Everything.
They're not. Yeah. What I meant to say, they're not going to stop making them larger. Right.
Correct.
So we either need as installers to get on board and embrace the change that's coming to the industry, or find a new career, because you're not going to stay busy installing 3x6 and 12x12 and 12x24 tile. That's going to be a commodity in the business in the next 5 years. And if you want to go after the high-end clientele and the custom work, I hope you can install thin gauge porcelain panel. And it just because you can install tile, it's a new business. It's a fabrication business. And you got to have training for it.
Well, and I mean, that's going to go with anything. I just saw a comment this morning on, I know this discussion has been had before, but what's everybody having issues with on their SPC, right? Like, are you having a ton of failures? And then the whole conversation blew up with all these people complaining about their installers are having issues and there's constantly failures and da 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 da. Look, that's 98% of what I do. I'm not having failures. I'm having nothing but success. So
are you putting 6 mil polyplastic underneath all your vinyl plank you're installing?
On concrete, yes, but that's not the only thing. Yeah, I'm also making sure that if it's going to cost $17,000 in self-level to get a floor flat, I'm telling the owner, I need $17,000 to make your floor flat. I don't care. It's not my problem. If you want to return your flooring, we can spend the $17,000 to make it flat. We can put wood on it now, which is going to cost you another $20 a square foot. But to me, I don't care. If I have to go get a product that can go over wood subfloors in an upstairs, we're going to do it. I'm not having a failure. Or if that floor is going to fail, it's somebody else installing it. I've walked away.
And it's the manufacturer, right? I mean, the vinyl. Fact, I know you do a lot of vinyl plank, and if you saw at Surfaces, a lot of the manufacturers, have you ever had a vinyl plank where the sheen level in some of your boxes were different, and when the light shines through the window, the customer can stand back and say, I've got 5 or so planks over there that are a different shade?
Yes, I just did a warranty claim on one.
I mean, but the claim guy wants to find fault in you so that the vinyl manufacturer doesn't have to stand behind it.
That's, you know what? That's actually the only thing I found easy is that most companies, when you bring that claim to them, I've had 3. two with one company, one with another. That was the easiest battle I ever had. Was, look, there's a problem with this. You need to send me new boxes. I'm not paying.
It's probably who you are, though, too.
No, I think it's just that, like, it's the one company's really good and stands behind their product. The other company I'll never use again because I had other issues with them throughout that installation process. But the Sheen issue was the one that I was like, look, you can clearly see there's an issue here. Like, you're sending me new boxes now and I'm not paying for them. Thank you. Goodbye. But it all goes back to I want to go down this road. We can't.
Go ahead.
It all goes back to education. I don't care if it's vinyl plank, tile, wood, thin gauge porcelain tile panels. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's your tool, your product, your business. Education is the only thing that's going to keep you moving forward and continuing to be profitable and continuing to grow and be able to overcome the challenges that you face. You have to get education. You cannot say, oh, I've been doing it this way for 20 years. I don't care. It's not going to work anymore because everything is changing around you except you. So
my dad's one of those guys that says that.
Go get him the newest like NWFA guidelines and hand them to him. Be like, hey, Dad, read these, and he'll just be like, I don't need them.
And he'll say, I wrote those guidelines.
Maybe. But I can't see it, just the way the technology is changing, the way the industry is moving forward. Just look, I've only been in it, since June 2015. So it'll be 7 years in June. So, 4 more months. The way I've seen the industry change in 7 years is crazy. I can only imagine where we'll be in another 5. It just overnight.
Embrace the change.
Correct, but
use the resources that we've been given at our fingertips.
Exactly. Go to the conventions, go to the manufacturer trainings when they're at a distributor and they're willing to demo a product. Know who your rep is and call them up and be like, hey, can you come actually show me this product? Can you help me install it? Can we do the education is there. All you got to do is ask. There's 800 numbers on every product. Call one.
Well, and Kyle, you're right. I mean, listen, coverings is coming up. If any of you guys that are listening to this podcast, if you've never been to surfaces, if you've never been to coverings, I know that you're taking time away from your business. You're not making money. You're spending money. But I am telling you that if you want to better the industry and better your business, there are people like myself and Kyle and hundreds of others that are like-minded business owners. And when you stay in your town, the websites and the Facebook groups are great, but you don't get to have an opportunity to have conversations like Kyle and I are having right now, face to face with other business owners and other like-minded people. And you're not going to these events and these trade shows necessarily to see products as much as you are to go to network with other like-minded people. And that value that you're going to take away from that week that you spend at that trade show, I promise you'll go to another one.
It's not just that. I mean, the only thing I would change about that is you said that you're spending money to be there, which is true. I guarantee you, if it costs you $5,000 to go to that show, if you don't find a way to learn something while you're there that's going to pay you back tenfold, you're doing it wrong. You're just doing it wrong.
Yeah. And have a plan when you go. Don't just go to the show and wander around with no purpose when you go to the show, because the shows are so big that even I know what I'm going to do. I've been to shows before, and there was things that surfaces this year that I thought I saw every square inch of everything there, and I didn't even see Kyle there.
Correct. Yeah.
I saw him on stage for 5 minutes. I stood from afar and listened to him talk a little bit to an interview. But I mean, there is just so much to do that you're going to miss something, and you're going to wander around and be lost and not know, and you're not going to have anything to take away if you don't go there with a plan that's going to improve your business while you're there.
Well, and taking it back to the topic here, if you want to impress clients, If you tell them you can't take their install on because you're going to a convention for your industry that week, their mind will be blown, because no other contractor they're interviewing for their project is telling them, look, I'd love to do it that week, but I have to go out of town and I have to go get educated and learn something. I'm participating in my industry on a different level. I mean, I was telling people, hey, look, I can't schedule estimates. I can't schedule anything. Look, I got to go to this conference. I've got 5 talks to give. And they were just like, whoa, okay. Like, who's this guy? Right. Like now, granted, yes, I've built a different brand in this industry. And so I am able to give talks, but honestly, anybody that wants to have the ability to get up on stage, they are always looking for unique topics. Like anybody can do it. I'm not special. I just decided to put myself out there and start making this happen. And it's grown into so many more things.
Right.
So,
thank you for doing this as well too. I know that many of us appreciate it.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. It's as much for me as it is for everybody else. I went looking for the information and it wasn't there. So now it's there. And
we're kind of reviewing the takeaways from the interview, right? I mean, so that everyone understands what Kyle and I are reviewing right now are the main takeaways from this interview that we've been talking now, rambling for about an hour.
Correct. So that being said, education is key, and you need to not only get it for you, but you've got to give it to your clients. And that's going to be a huge difference in being able to get the clientele you want. And that's where you're going to find these picky and regretful people and that have had a bad experience, and you can go in and blow their mind. And that kind of sums everything up. But is there something I didn't ask you that I should have asked you?
Guys, have fun when you're doing this. I mean, don't be so wound up tight. Get to know your customer.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to joke around with them and get to know them and ask them what they do for a living. And remember, everyone has a story and everyone loves to talk about themselves.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I promise you that they will embrace that relationship with you if you seem interested in what they're up to and what they have going on in their personal lives. Don't be afraid, because you might think of yourselves as just the flooring guy, to find out who they are and get to know them as a human being. That's how that's how you're going to build your business, and that's how you're going to create the relationships for the repeat business in this industry.
Yes.
And I promise you, if that's the only thing you take away from this podcast, that is extremely important.
Yes. Go read How to Win Friends and Influence People. There you go. That'll sum it up in a little. Kenny gave you the quick version of how to win friends and influence people, but you can't be disingenuous when you do it. Like, you actually have to care. If you're going to ask your client about their day, about their story, about their dog, their kid, whatever it is, you can't just ask to ask. You better care, and you better show like genuine interest, because that's what's going to make the difference. Don't have small talk to have small talk. I will lose hours of my week conversing with my clients, but it's because I genuinely want to know them. Because when they call, I just had a repeat client call me, and he was all like, "Hey, it's Ken, and I, you probably don't remember us." I was like, "No, man, I remember you. How's your corgi doing? I know you guys. I love you guys. They're like this cute middle-aged gay couple. They're fabulous."
Right.
To be corny about it, but like they are absolutely like amazing to go and be around. They make disgusting jokes in front of me. They got this awesome little corgi running around, and they're fun. And they were like, "Well, you probably don't remember." I was like, No, you want to add that living room on, right to the right when you walk in your door. You've got the carpet in it right now, and it's got the fireplace. They're like, "How do you know that?" Because I care. Because I have this weird knack to remember the stupidest things about people's houses. But that's where.
And if you can't remember it, and you see that stuff, and you had a conversation about it, write it down.
Put it in a CRM.
Program.
Yes. When they call, it can come up on the phone or in the computer. Put notes in their like contact on your phone. You can pull it up.
Yeah, that's a separate conversation, though.
Yes, that's a whole different one. But that's, you know, once again, this is how you build value. This is how you get those high-end clients. All right.
Yes.
I love it. We're going to wrap it up there. I think that's a great spot. So let's see. What can you do? Kenny, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on and sharing your knowledge, your experiences with us. I very much appreciate it. Go ahead and check out flooracademypod.com, where you can find your favorite spot to stream this. We also have our YouTube channel going now. You can help support the show at patreon.com/flooracademy. Even if you go on there, sign up, they're automatically going to take the money out of your account. You're never going to notice it's gone. $5, $10 a month. It goes a really long way in helping me to continue to produce this show and get this information out to you. We've got, if you're listening live, we are starting 2 new mastermind groups the beginning of April. The first week of April is when we will start. I have 5 spots left, so make sure you reach out to me, flooracademypodcast@gmail.com. I'm happy to break down that program for you. They are intimate groups of 5 people meeting who want to grow their businesses. They're setting goals. They're holding each other accountable. And we start off meeting the first 6 weeks in a row, and then we meet every other week from there. It is making a huge difference in businesses. People talk about wanting to grow. They read the books. They listen to these podcasts. They don't ever put anything in action. These 5 people are taking huge steps and actually moving their businesses forward. It's been amazing to watch for the past, where are we at, 4.5 months? Yeah. It's been, they've done some big things. So those are my pitches. Thank you for listening. And what do we got here? Flooring Domain is an award-winning online flooring directory and service marketplace that helps you find more clients, grow your online presence, your reputation, or your brand. Whether you're a carpet store, a flooring installer, perhaps a tile contractor, there are projects for everyone with a daily stream of clients visiting Flooring Domain and looking for experts like you. Flooring Domain offers a free listing option that allows you to find client leads. You can set up a free account at Flooring Domain by visiting flooringdomain.us. Have you ever tried to install LVP on steps only to struggle with the solution for the stair nose? Introducing Snap Caps by SnapTech. You simply send SnapTech the exact LVP your client selects, and they'll turn it into a perfectly matched stair nose that clicks flush into the tread plank for a simple and reliable solution. Visit www.snaptech.biz to learn more or order. All right, everybody. That's all the time we got for this week. We will catch you later. Thanks for listening.